Hello everyone, my name is Sophie and today I'm here to talk about the worst books I read in 2019. So, just as a disclaimer, obviously these are my opinions, this is how I felt about the books, but also I'm not such a big fan of talking about the books I hate. I don't know why, it's just that I love, as most people, just by view count, you can see that people, and me included, love negative videos like books I hate, oh rant, this popular book sucks. People usually love that and I like watching those, but I don't like making them. I don't know why, but this is what I gotta do today. We're gonna talk about the worst books I read this year, and yeah, let's get right into it. I'm doing them in order of when I read them, so we're gonna start off with Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. This is a very loved book and I read it in January. It's very well loved. People love it. It's won like awards and stuff. And it's written in prose about this kid whose brother was murdered by gun violence, I think, and it's him coming down an elevator to get revenge on his brother's murderer. And the entire book is set in the elevator, in the long way down the elevator. And it's not that it's a bad book, it's just that I really didn't like it. I don't usually like books with prose. I just picked it up because it's really hyped. I don't know, it's bad to say that a book with that kind of message, like gun violence and racism a little, I think, didn't move me, but it didn't. It really, like, I think it was this particular book because I love The Hate U Give. I love On the Come Up. I love other books like that, but I didn't love this one. And also, it might have to do with that I was sick that day. I was with the worst headache, and I decided to just listen to the audiobook, so that kind of worsened my experience. But yeah, that one just didn't do it for me. Not bad, just not for me. The next book I want to talk about is Girls Are Sick and Tired by Lucy de Pesluan. No clue. This one is like a little 50-page nonfiction book about feminism and girls, and I got an arc of it, but it was so bad. It's like for kids, it's like for 5-year-olds, but it wasn't marketed as if it was for 5-year-olds, and it was like so surface level, so like common sense. It was just saying things that were common sense, and I did not appreciate it. Did not spending like 15 minutes with it. The next book I want to talk about is White Sand by Brandon Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson is my favorite author. If you didn't know, I love him. I've read almost everything by him, but I didn't like this. It's mostly because I don't tend to like graphic novels that are trying to be deeper and have more depth. Like if the graphic novel is just trying to have a cutesy romance or something really surface level that doesn't really need much depth or of world and character and magic, then I'm fine. But like Sanderson writes such complex fantasy stories, and I don't think that his worlds and stories in graphic novel format really work for me. It's kind of mostly the graphic novel, but also a lot of people kind of agree with me, so make your own decision. I just did not enjoy this. I think that this is the only Cosmere book I don't like, which is sad, but yeah, this one. The next one that I didn't like is Murderbot, All Systems Red. The Murderbot series is really popular, but I thought the first book was fine. It was okay. It was like really, like Murderbot as a character is great, but like I was so underwhelmed. And I picked it up for a readathon because it was short, but overall I don't think I gained anything from that reading experience. I will continue with the series though, but that one just really didn't do it. The next one is Heretics Anonymous, a book I owned, but I gave away. I owned in hardcover and I gave away because I just really didn't like it. It's pretty much about, it's supposed to be about this very, very hardcore Catholic school with this group of kids who are like non-conforming in the Catholic religion, just talking about like their experiences and like kind of forming a social group And I really like those kinds of stories. I really liked Moxie, I really liked Nora Girls, and I thought I was gonna like this one, but bitch. This book was so bad, like objectively bad. Like it started with a nice conversation and like 40% of the book was fine. Like it was like doing what it told me it would do, but then at like the 50% mark, it just completely switched and it started being about a romance, a bad romance, an insta-lovey romance that had no chemistry, that had no time to develop, zero, and it just overtook the plot. And I was like, I didn't sign up for a romance, I signed up for a social commentary YA book, and it just really, really disappointed me at the end. Really sad. Next book is a very popular one that I wish I had liked, and it's Crier's War by Nina Varela. Varela, right? Nina Varela, whatever. This is about this girl named Crier who's like the princess, and she's like half robot, the princess of her kingdom, and Crier is great. She's wonderful, wonderful character, wonderful plot arc. And then the other main character is Ayla, this commoner who wants to get revenge on the crown, on Crier, because she killed somebody. So, I love revenge stories, but I like revenge stories that have a basis. Like the basis is revenge, but then it rises above that and beyond that and becomes so much more. And talks about the futility of revenge and all that stuff. I love those. But this book, Ayla was such a flat character. She, like, her only goal and motivation was revenge, and not even in an interesting way. She did not feel like a character. She felt like a plot device being steered towards where the author wanted her to be so that we could have a romance with Crier, and it was shit. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars because Crier is great. Crier's plot arc is great. Now just take Ayla out of the book and you have a great book, because it doesn't feel like half of the book is being shoehorned in for the sake of a plot the author wants to have. So, did not appreciate that one. The next one is Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. I don't own most of the books I'm going to talk about because I usually read books and then find out if I want to buy them, that kind of stuff, but these next one I don't own any of them. But this is Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. This is the same author as Lock Every Door. It's about the summer camp, about these girls at the summer camp like 15 years ago, where 3 of them were, like there were 4 of them at the cabin and 3 of them went missing, and 15 years later this girl that was left at the cabin goes back to the summer camp and tries to figure out what happened. So there were some elements in this book I really, really liked. For example, the ending and the times we spent 15 years ago. Now, the plot in the present I didn't like at all. It had so many unnecessary red herrings that didn't feel like they were leading up to something. They felt like red herrings, and it just felt like an overall waste of time. If we like just cut short on most of that, it has a plot trope that I really hate, which is kind of people died in this place, so it must be haunted. Thought process in a strictly realistic book. So the thriller, completely realistic, no supernatural, and like we spend a good 20% I think of the book going after this history of the place because it must be haunted, which I hate, and it was like such a waste of time when we could be spending time at the actual plot or 15 years ago when it was more interesting. And yeah, but I love the ending though, and I love Lock Every Door. It's like my favorite thriller, tied with Dark Matter. But yeah, just didn't like it. I finished the book feeling not only underwhelmed but angry that we spent so much time going nowhere to get where it was actually good. Next book I didn't like is The Grown-Up by Gillian Flynn. This is the first Gillian Flynn book I've read, and it's like a novella, so short, so underwhelming. I don't know what to say about it other than I fucking hated it. I like the beginning when the main character is like, I think, a palm reader or a tarot reader or something. She gets called on a house call because this woman's son is acting all weird, and I just didn't like where the story went. Just really didn't like. Was it kind of fun while reading? Yes, but at the end, when I finished it, it just left me with such a bad feeling that I immediately gave it 1 star and just moved on. The next book I didn't like is The Death of Miss Westaway by Ruth Ware. This was my first Ruth Ware book. I also read Lock Every Door this year, and I liked it. Not as much as other people are liking it, but I liked it. And Death of Miss Westaway, I think it's just a lot of wasted potential and a lot of wasted time. That's how I feel about it, mostly because I did not like the plot twist. I really liked the plot arc with the main character's mother and that whole thing. That was great, but I hated the rest. Like, we spend, like, that's my gripe with most thrillers, is that we spend a lot of time going nowhere to, like, just to eat up page time or create unnecessary tension when we could be creating tension while going the right direction. And I hate that. And Death of Miss Westaway, I hate when they don't do that, and Death of Miss Westaway did that a lot, and it really angered me. Most of these books, actually, I gave 2.5. Not many 1 star, but Death of Miss Westaway was a 2, because I liked some plot arcs, hated the rest of them. Yeah, just wish I liked it more, because that's my thing with thrillers. I read, I think, 8 thrillers, and 1, 2, 3, 4 are on this list. So, unfortunately, that appears to be my trend. Next book I didn't like is My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. Wow, another thriller. Who'd have thought? But yeah, I like the premise. I kind of like the ending, which I completely saw coming, but exact same gripe. It took a lot of time going nowhere and trying to create tension that didn't feel like tension at all. It felt like, oh, just mundane stuff. This book made a couple killing people feel like mundane stuff. Just how boring it was. And I expected more. How did most of these books, like in the year they were published, get nominated for Best Thriller of the Year? Do I just not like thrillers? Is the majority of the people just have bad taste? Probably I just have bad taste, but whatever. Let's move on. Next book I didn't like is Only Human by Sylvain Neuvel. That is the concluding book on the Themis Files trilogy, which I liked book 1 a lot. I really liked book 2. But then the second book in the end got rid of some stuff that I loved, that like kind of made the books for me. So when we got into the third book, I just missed those things that I loved a lot. And also the kid is so fucking annoying. The audiobook, the narrator for the audiobook does such an annoying voice for the main character. Every time she spoke, I was just like, oh my gosh, shut the fuck up. She was so annoying, which she's the kid of my favorite character, and she was the worst character on the series. So that was a real letdown, and it felt like a disappointing finale, disappointing with characters, with plot, with the overall ending feeling, and I just really didn't like that one, even when I really liked the other 2 books in a series. So that's like one of my biggest disappointments this year. Next book I didn't like is Sisters of the Vast Black by Lena Rather. This is a Tor.com novella. I love Tor, but yikes, I've not been liking their novellas. Sisters of the Vast Black is a sci-fi story about nuns in space. and it has like a ship that's kind of alive and it has organs and skin and all this stuff, and you hear that and say, oh, sounds really cool, I want to know what they're gonna do with it. And it's just so domestic and it's so boring and vanilla. The book does nothing with the premise and the potential it has. It does nothing. It just stays there like, day-to-day life on the ship. And I don't want the fucking day-to-day life on the ship. I want more. And it was really disappointing. Next book, I actually own the next two. And it is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. I have a whole dedicated rent review for this one. I'm gonna link it down below. And also, I see that's very visible, this scratch right here. It's my dog. Okay, I'm sorry if it's been distracting you, but my dog just fucking scratched me near the eye, and I love her, but holy fuck. But Serpent and Dove, I have a few tabs, but just because I was hating the book so much, I was just liking reading it so much that I was trying to find stuff that I actually liked. And I talk way more about it in my dedicated review. I suggest if you want to see me angry and disappointed at the wasted potential, you should watch that. But overall, I just felt like this book didn't feel organic. The characters felt built. Oh, sorry, the plot and the world felt built around the characters to have their romance work out. So it was just a really bad, terrible ending, terrible romance, terrible world, like terrible world building, one of the worst I've ever seen. Just really didn't like this one. Oh, sorry, if you didn't know, it's about Lou, who is a witch, who gets forced to marry Reed, a witch hunter. That's it. That's the whole fucking plot. Doesn't matter the witches, doesn't matter the witches plot line, doesn't matter the church plot line. It's just filler for the romance, and I hate that. Like, at least market it as such. Don't market it with a book about witches with an enemies to lover romance. Market it to me like this is an enemies to lovers book, a romance book with witches sprinkled on top, because it is not. The fantasy aspects are done disservice in the story, and I love fantasy, so I just can't have that. The next book is my worst book of the year. Woo! And it's also the best cover of the year, which is such a disappointment. Like, it has such a beautiful cover, and I bought it because of the beautiful cover, but I hate it. And it is Wilder Girls by Rory Power. I hate this book a lot. I finished reading like the last 100 pages in school because I was just like, I want to be done with this shit. I don't like it. I just want to finish it. And the minute I turned the last page, I turned to my friend and said, this, and threw it on the ground. It's a piece of shit. So it just made me really angry. It's marketed as like a feminist sapphic Lord of the Fry. It's marketed as a feminist sapphic Lord of the Flies, and it's pretty much about like there's an infection breaking out in this school and the girls are quarantined and they're like fighting for survival, blah blah, whatever. This book is so surface level, and it's like the most surface level book I've ever read. It's short because it has no substance, like no nuance, no substance, no anything. The romance was not good, which I hate to say about female romance, but it was not good. The horror elements were weak. I'm sorry, I just did not spook me. And also, calling this book feminist, I think, is a huge mistake. Like the rest that I've said, it's all my opinion, of course. But I truly think that calling this book feminist is a mistake and a disservice to feminists, because feminists, how is this book feminist? Tell me. Feminists don't do what this girl, what this main characters did to other women, and it's just so bad. And this book, I think, it felt like it didn't know where it was going. The ending was terrible. Didn't close anything, didn't go anywhere. Oh my god, I hate it. And the cover is so pretty. But just, I really didn't like it. And I wish I hadn't bought it. I truly do. Sorry for you hearing me rant for 20 minutes. But I mean, like, everybody likes these videos, right? I love them, and I wanted to do this first because I'm gonna travel all through January and I won't be able to do them. So I just wanted to put this one out first. See what you guys thought about the books I hated, see what books you guys hated, talk to you about it, and yeah, my name's Sophia, and I'll see you next time. Bye!